we never touched on, you know, last week.
Yeah.
But I'd love for us to start from the point of what you wish people actually understood about the connection between, you know, childhood and adulthood. How does that translate into, you know, our older days?
Thank you. And one of the things that would be critical for everyone to appreciate is that the things you do not predispose for help, you don't come out candidly to talk from a place of authenticity. That happened to you in your childhood traumas, because those are deeply seated emotional experiences. Somewhere could have been also physical, because if you went through a traumatizing experience during a war-torn area from Sudan, from the back home in Uganda when we were growing up, when you talk of a war, some people don't know what you're talking about, because they've never experienced a civil war.
Have you?
I lived through them from 1977 all the way through. The military regimes that came successively, you lived through them because you lived next to the barracks. So we knew what happened. So when you say, this will turn on a civil war, we know what we went through as little kids. The traumas never leave you. You walk through dead bodies. You see military camps everywhere. You see a lot of things. So if you don't come up from a place of authenticity, talk about your own insecurities and the hurts and the wounds and the pains, people will not know why you're striking out in certain incidences. If you've come from a place of sexual abuse, and it happened privately, not everyone was there to witness it, to experience it, but you were there. And often people want you to keep silent about it. Then they see you walk in a place of perpetual fear. Every time you come in encounters with a masculine gender or a feminine gender that abused you, because sometimes people think women do not get to abuse young people, but actually young boys, but it happens on both quadrants. If you've gone through some physical abuse, someone brutally abused you as a child, it's quite likely that you might rehearse the same kind of abuse when you have your own opportunity to raise your own children, or you freak out when you see it.
Right? Inflicting, you know, that kind of abuse that you went through.
Yes, because the pain that is deeply seated in your emotional psyche, behind the scene, you strike out on people. You can put on an imagery in front of people, but you're a different person privately. And most of the time, those are traumas you never dealt with adequately. It could have been a relationship that went south. Started out all well, and to many people who are not involved in day-to-day experience of your relationship, they see a perfect individual, always glamorous, laughing, the makeup is right, and you know, every I dotted and every T crossed, but behind the scene, it's a totally different world altogether, because there are childhood traumas you never healed from, the abuse of the parents, going through an abusive relationship. So you attempt to get into a relationship, then you find yourself, why am I rehearsing this toxicity in my relationship? There are things you suffered in your growing up and never dealt with. So I always say, it has a way it shows up when you least expect it. So the best would be seek a licensed therapist for counseling and be helped. And some of these things, if they happen in community, you can only be healed in community. In other words, engage yourself into conversation around people who know you, who care for you, so that you can be healed. So if I know one thing that works too fast, even without necessarily a therapist, is that break out into conversation in safe spaces with people who know you and care for you, and you'll be healed.
Talking about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
All right. You know, you mentioned something about abuse, and sometimes, you know, we see people downplaying and dismissing people who talk about abuse, especially, you know, when you talked about sexual abuse, even physical abuse, and this is for on the